All right, just wrapped up spring practice. Beautiful spring day out there. Um, yeah, we'll got our situations. Spent a little extra time down in the red zone today, working on our short yardage and the white and blue zone. Got to be more efficient down there, obviously. But good week of practice, and we'll head out to Pittsburgh tonight. So let's get to it. Questions? I don't think so. I don't think that we've gone out. Yeah, we haven't had it. We're going to go out for Stanford on Thursday as well. But this will be the first time that we've used this kind of schedule. Yeah, to go out on a Friday night and get there and then boom, hit it. So we want to be able to tomorrow duplicate Saturday schedule. We took out some of our periods of practice today, and we'll include those tomorrow to get a little bit more of a lengthier practice tomorrow than normal. To again, get them used to a duplicate schedule on Friday and Saturday. Yeah, yeah. The leadership piece for Jalen has been one where he has led by example, and we don't think that that's enough to be a great leader. We think that you have to be somebody that is interactive, if you will. He's got to be communicating. He's got to be teaching and communicating, and so it has to be more than just actions. We know about his actions; they're phenomenal. You just watch him play, and that speaks volumes. But we want him to be more of a communicator with the guys, and I think that that's the point that we wanted to make with him, and he took it to heart after a conversation about what he needed to physically do, and then what did he need to do relative to the communication piece, and it was really mentoring and communicating really his experiences and his learning curve, and I think he understood that.
There's a new measurement for the Outland Trophy called the Schneider Scale. It's hard to understand exactly what goes into it, but they're ranking offensive and defensive linemen, and Nick Martin is on there. I was just wondering how, and so is Shelton Day, I'm just wondering how you guys have graded out Martin and to that affect Ronnie Stanley as well.
I would say that Ronnie is graded out at the highest marks, as an offensive lineman for us. Nick is a very efficient and smart offensive lineman. He's not as physically, impressive at times, and imposing is probably the best word, because he's an impressive player, but he's not as imposing. But he's smart, technically sound, very good leader, communicates the checks. But when you watch Ronnie, you have this long, athletic kid, so he becomes, obviously the guy that jumps out at you more. So they've both been outstanding players. They're just different players, and I think that's the difference between the two.
Brian, Deshaun said something when he was asked about kind of his mounting carries and so forth. Kind of as an aside, he said, I thought I was going to kind of play like Tommy Reese and play in that offense, and then, he's happy with what he's doing. Did he surprise you at all with his ability to be able to be maybe what is your prototype version of your offense?
Well, I thought that he had the athletic ability to do a lot more of the things within our offense that Malik was able to do. He's certainly a bit of a different player than Malik, but certainly could keep our read option series in there, and because of his size could continue to have quarterback runs as part of our offense. So I didn't undersell him in that sense, that he couldn't be part of our run game. We didn't see him the same way as we did Malik in the run game, but we saw somebody that, at 6'5" and 235, 240 pounds, he's an asset in the run game. He's a lot faster than people think, obviously, and we saw that last week.
Basing off of that, too, I know at the beginning of the year when Deshaun was first starting, some of the receivers and running backs you guys were thinking needed to step up in order for them to make plays to make him successful. But as the season has gone along, have you seen Deshaun step up into that role he could be that player to make plays when they need to?
Well, certainly I think, the quarterback is always going to be central to the success of the offense. But I still think it is centered around a successful offensive line, the ability to protect, the ability to run the football, and I think it starts there, and then it goes from there. So he's just got really good pieces around him, and he knows how to use them all. So if he was out there by himself, I don't think he takes over the game. He's just still relying on the pieces around him.
Brian, did you ever have that conversation with Cole Luke about?
I did, yeah.
What did he say?
After he was staring, it was after the game, it was the interception, and he was just staring at the sideline, and coach had said something to him. Cole said that he was not disrespectful in any way. It was just the heat of the game, and that Coach Rule came up to him after and was complimentary about the way he played, and so I left it and we moved on.
With your offensive line, what do you think is out there for them still to get as an offensive line, as a unit, in terms of their evolution? Do the high ankle sprains that those guys had, do they factor into your expectations?
Well, I think they're on the other end of those. They're still, working through them. But I think everybody's nicked up and banged up a little bit. I don't think anybody's feeling like it's the first day of, camp. So I think everybody's got a little bit something on the offensive line. I just think, what we need to do is really be, as a unit, consistent, no penalties. That's been obviously the number one thing with the offensive line, eliminating penalties, and then, that one missed assignment seems to always come at the most inopportune time. So I think, those two things, if we can eradicate those on Saturday, I think we can look to our offensive line having a big day.
Any new crucial injuries to report?
Nothing. Knock on wood.
Speaking of Deshaun, have you ever had a quarterback that has, taken over the position so late and excelled so well in crunch time? Because he's had several of those. Have you ever had a young quarterback be able to do that?
I had a kid that was similar, that had the same kind of demeanor, a kid named Zach Caleris, who just exuded the similar, confidence and just cool under pressure, winner, similar as a freshman, that Deshaun has. It's just Deshaun's about 5 inches taller and 30 pounds heavier. So he just comes in a bigger package. But yeah, he has similar qualities, and I think Zach's done very, very well in the Canadian Football League with that kind of, presence and leadership and confidence.
How have you seen that progress too? We were asking how you saw him composing himself on the sideline before going into the huddle of the Virginia game winning drive, compared to maybe last week going into the Temple huddle before they made that drive too. Has there been an increase? And I know you always said he's confident.
Yeah.
But has there been a showing of more confidence to him?
No, I think that's been there the whole time. I think it's more knowledge of the offense and understanding. And, it's kind of an interesting dynamic that I see that maybe, unless you're there every day, it's it's actually good when you don't know everything. Not knowing all the situations and not knowing all of the pressure and not having all of that is a kind of a good thing, not knowing, that these things could happen to you in this situation. Having a little bit less information is a good thing for him right now, and we kind of want to keep it that way.
All right.
Good.